Hey, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's episode of the Passion to Profits podcast. Now, I know for a fact that today's podcast episode is not going to be a popular one because a lot of us like watching and listening to content that tells us we're amazing, we can do whatever we want, that the world is our oyster, and we love that content because that makes us feel good about ourselves. But I know for a fact today's piece of content is not going to make you feel that way. And the reason it's not going to make you feel that way is because what I want you to do today is I want you to look in the mirror. I want you to look at the face in front of you. And I want you to realize that you are a big, fat liar. That's right. You are a liar to yourself. Now, the greatest liar that you'll ever meet is you. Because we can convince ourselves of anything. We're so good at lying to ourselves that we believe that what we tell ourselves is actually true. And what I want to do in this podcast episode is to make you realize that you've been lying to yourself and that you've been deluding yourself. Now, the reason I know that you have been deluding yourself is because we all do it. I still do it. I still find moments where I'm deluding myself, and I have to wake myself up. I have to make myself look at the facts and say, Barry, is that really true? Or again, are you lying to yourself? So I know this podcast episode is not going to be a popular one. A lot of you will probably listen to any other podcast episode but this one. But this might be one of the most important ones you'll listen to. Because a lot of us don't want to face the facts. We don't want to wake up from the little story that we tell ourselves in here that we are amazing, that we are making progress, and that things are going to change. And then in the outside, real world, nothing like that is happening. We're not taking action, we're not making changes, and the needle isn't moving forward. So what I want to do in this podcast episode is I want you to wake you up from the story that you're telling yourself. I'm also recording this podcast episode for me because I need refreshers every so often, reminding me of the great big liar that I am. Now, when it comes to lying to yourself, you and I know that we make empty promises to ourselves. You know, have you ever been with someone, maybe a friend or a family member, who says to you, well, from Monday morning, I am going to ditch all the junk food. It's going to be dieting from Monday morning onwards. I'm going to put on the trainers. I'm going to go for a run. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you're looking at that person. You're nodding along with them. But inside your own head, you're telling yourself they're deluded. That's not going to happen. By Tuesday, you know for a fact that they'll be back at the junk food again. You know that those trainers will probably thrown in the back cupboard, never looked at again, and you know that they're not going to change. And yet they believe that that story that they're telling you of all the wonderful changes on Monday happening is going to happen. And it's probably a story they'll have told you many times. And again, we all do that. We all come out with these little stories filled with empty promises. I'm going to change this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take action on that. Things are going to be different from now on. And yet we still go back to the way we've always been. We just continue doing the same habits, not making the changes, and then wondering why our waistline doesn't change, why our bank balance doesn't change, and why our social media following doesn't change. So you need to realize that if changes are going to happen, changes need to happen. And one of those changes is waking up to the stories and the lies and the empty promises that we tell ourselves. Now, what I'd say to you as well, to another delusion that we have, not only the empty promises that we make, it's the actions that we take. Because, for example, you might like to build a business around your passion. Maybe you'd like to do videos. Maybe you'd like to do something online. And right now you're taking action, and the action that you're taking, you are deluding yourself in thinking that your action is actually making progress. You know, right now you could be maybe watching a lot of videos on how to make videos. You might be buying ebooks on how to become a better blogger. You might be maybe joining some course or getting coaching on how to, make money online, build a website, build a blog. And we believe that this gathering knowledge is actually making progress. Now, the reason I know that isn't progress is because I did it. Before I did a lot of things that I do right now, I was like that. I was thinking that if I just need to buy another book, I need to watch another YouTube video, I need to join a membership. And once I've got all this knowledge, then I'll take action. Then I'll make some progress. But I thought all this gathering knowledge was making progress. That, in my head, seemed to be the case. But in the outside world, nothing was changing. I wasn't making any videos. I wasn't writing any blog posts. I wasn't making any ebooks, creating any digital courses. Nothing in the outside world was changing. But in here, I had the belief that what I was doing right now was making progress. And that's another thing you need to wake up to, is that you need to take action to make changes in your life. But you need to look at the actions that you're actually taking. Are they small actions? Are they moving the needle in the right way? Or are you just kind of sitting in the driveway, revving your engine and not moving into gear? But again, we delude ourselves into thinking that by taking these actions, we're making progress. But if we look at the world of reality, look ourselves in the mirror and say to ourselves, is it making progress? Is it making action? Am I getting any followers? Am I creating any content? Am I making any money? Is anyone coming to my website? And if the answers to all those are no, well then the actions you're taking aren't moving you forward. So you need to take real actions. So again, don't delude yourself into thinking that whatever you're doing right now is actually moving the needle in the right direction. If it's not moving the needle, it's not moving the needle. And you need to look at bigger actions that are going to give you a bigger bang for your buck and actually move the needle in the right direction. Now, another thing I'd say to you is that procrastination is also a delusion. Because we like to think to ourselves, well, because I'm a procrastinator, that's my excuse for not making videos today. You know, I will wear this t-shirt that says I am a procrastinator for the rest of my life. And I'll go to my grave with this title of me being a procrastinator. But really, do you really want to go to the grave with that title of being a procrastinator? Of kind of putting this excuse up on a pedestal and saying the reason that I can't make my videos, create my content, build my business is because of this big, nasty procrastination. And we like to just kick our goals, our dreams down the road because of procrastination. Again, you need to look at that. You need to realize that if things are going to change, things will need to change. That procrastination will need to be knocked on the head. You'll need to take action to get to where you want to get to. You know, it's okay me saying, well, I'll procrastinate on these videos. I'll make these videos tomorrow. I'll do it maybe on Tuesday. I'll do them next week. But really, the only reason you are watching me in this video is because I've sat my butt down here in this seat, even though sometimes I don't want to make the videos, but I know if the videos are going to be made, they need to be made and I need to take the action. And that's the reason you're watching me in this video. Again, it's a delusion I tell myself too. I like negotiating with myself. I like telling myself, well, if I don't make a video today, I'll make 2 tomorrow, or I'll do maybe 3 on the next day. And I know for a fact in my head, I'll never do 3 videos in one day. There might be a chance I might do 2 videos, but not 3. And I know that's a lie I'm telling myself. And I know by procrastinating, what I'm doing is I am putting all that stress on the future version of myself. Now, I want you to think for a moment. Do you think in a month from now, in a year from now, in 5 years from now, there is going to be a magical version of you that's going to show up and going to sort all the problems? That this magical version of you is going to show up, be full of confidence, be full of energy, isn't going to procrastinate anymore, is ready to take action, and then from that point onwards, you are going to take action. You know, again, that's another little lie that we tell ourselves, that there's going to be a perfect version of us in the future who's going to sort all that problems, who's going to create the content, who's going to write the ebooks, make the digital products. But there's never going to be a magical version of you. The version of you in 6 months is going to be you in 6 months from now. It's going to be you a year from now, 5 years from now. There's going to be no difference. It's going to be you that's going to be there. And I want you to think about the future version of you, having to turn everything around, having to take huge amount of actions to catch up on the procrastination you're taking right now. Can you imagine the future version of you, you know, suddenly having to get up and realizing, God, I have to make all these videos. I have to write all these ebooks. I have to write these blog posts. I have to do this. I have to do that. Now, do you really think the future version of you is going to be able to do that? Do you really think that that is fair on you, making the future version of you suffer like that? Have all that headache of trying to catch up on the lack of action that you're taking right now. Now, I don't know about you, but I think it's unfair for you to expect the future version of you to just sort all the problems. So instead of giving this future version of you a big headache that they need to solve, you need to take action today. You need to give the future version of you as little work as possible, that you have done all the work that you need to do right now. So be aware of that. It's great having the title of, oh, I'm a procrastinator. And, you tell everybody in social media, oh, I'd love to do those things, but I procrastinate. I think too much. I do this, I do that. But really, that's just a delusion that you're telling yourself. And if you want things to change, you need to make things to change. Now, I know, as I said, this isn't going to be a popular podcast episode, and I know people are probably screaming at me saying, well, I am a procrastinator and you don't understand, it's because of this, because of that, and because of the other. That's fair enough. It may be because of those reasons. But are you going to put those reasons on a pedestal that when you come to the end of your life, you're going to say, well, the reason I couldn't do what I want to do in my life was because of this, this, and this. Now, the more you give those things the power to take away from you what you would like to do, you're given the power to that. Now, I think you, as a person, have a lot more power than those beliefs that you're putting on a pedestal. So what you need to do is you need to knock them off the pedestal. You need to realize that if you keep doing what you're doing, you are going to not get the results that you want to get. Now, what you need to do as well too is you need to stop clinging to excuses. You need to, whatever excuses you come up with, you might say to yourself, well, the reason I didn't make a video today was because of this, that, and the other. Or the reason I didn't go for a run today was because of this, that, and the other. The reason I didn't write a Facebook post or a blog post was because of this, that, and the other. And we like to bring out those excuses. And I know for a fact, because I do it too. I have these kind of fail-safe excuses that I fall back on. And I know they're excuses. But I lie to myself, convince myself that those excuses are legitimate, that they are the genuine reason of why I can't do it. But again, if I spend any time on it at all, if I analyze those excuses, I'll see them for what they are. They are just simply excuses. And do I want to have a life of excuses, or do I want to have a life of results? Because you can't have one without the other. You're either going to have excuses or you're going to have results. And if you want to have the results that you're looking to achieve, well, that means you need to knock those excuses on the head. You need to stop giving them the power to hold you back. Again, what I'd say to you is that, finally, that if you want to change your life, you need to change your actions. Because the actions that you're taking right now is giving you the results that you're getting. The lack of action, the list of excuses, all the things we fall back on, saying that we're a procrastinator, saying that with this or that or the other. If we continue with those actions, nothing's going to change. And if you want your life to change, it's going to involve new actions. Because if you keep doing what you're doing, tomorrow's going to end the same, the next day is going to end the same, next week is going to end the same, next month, next year. And as I said, you're going to give the future version of yourself an awful headache that it needs to solve because you didn't do it right now. So realize that, if there is a liar in the room today, it's you. And that you are the greatest liar that existed. And that's because you are so good at lying to yourself that you believe yourself. And we come out with those empty promises, just like your family does and just like your friends do, of saying, well, tomorrow onwards, I'm going to make videos on TikTok. I'm going to start writing that ebook. I'm going to start creating a digital product. And our friends and our family listen to us, nod along with us, agree with us, and yet in their heads, they're saying the exact same things as we do about them. That this is just empty promises. These are the things you've been saying this past couple of weeks, past couple of months, past couple of years. So, if you want your life to change, again, as I said, I know this is not going to be a popular podcast episode because we don't like looking at ourselves in the mirror, realizing I screwed up, realizing that, something, the buck stops with me. I can blame everyone else, but if I blame everyone else, it means that everyone else has power over me. And I need to realize that if I bring the power back to me, it means that if this life of mine is going to change, it's going to be me. So if your life is going to change, realize it's going to be in you. So you need to ditch the procrastination. You need to ditch the excuses. You need to ditch the empty promises. And you need to realize that it's not fair of you expecting that future version of you to solve all your problems. They're never going to be able to do it. And there is going to be no magical hero in the future. It's going to be you 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. And you can imagine, if you don't make any changes to yourself, Well, the version that's going to be there in 6 months from now is just going to be you again. And what you're going to do in 6 months from now is you are going to be just as deluded, just as listening to those excuses, and you're going to kick that can down the road another 6 months, where again, you're going to face it again. So, as I said, we don't like to face the truth. We don't like to look at what we tell ourselves. Just pull back the band-aid and realize, something, I've been lying to myself. And a good way of doing that is actually to look at your results. Just see the results that you're getting. Are you making more videos? Are you making more money? Is the needle of progress moving in at all? And if that needle of progress isn't moving at all, well, then it means what you're doing right now isn't working. So, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. I hope I didn't annoy you too much, and hopefully you'll be back to listen to future ones. But if you have any comments, if you would like to say anything about this podcast episode or share anything with me, please feel free to leave a comment below this video. And as always, have a lovely day. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.